this is Rachel from I Need IVF, and today I was going to have a little tea and a natter with you about the 2-week wait and give you 8 tips for keeping your sanity. So the 2-week wait, the dreaded thing that you all hear about, what is it? So the 2-week wait is that period after you've had your transfer while you're waiting to find out whether your IVF cycle has been successful or not. Key things here are, it's not exactly 2 weeks. If you did a 3-day transfer, it would be 11 days, and if you did a 5-day transfer, it would be 9 days. So that's good news. It's slightly shorter than you expect. Hurrah! What's happening in early pregnancy is the body is getting hopefully that little embryo implanted into your uterine lining and producing HCG, which is the hormone that then will be picked up by a pregnancy test. What is important to know is that because you're doing IVF, you've probably had a trigger injection of that hormone, so you do need to leave it at least 10 days after you've had the injection before you start doing your pregnancy test. It's also important to note that HCG has a huge range between the minimum and maximum levels that could be expected at any point in pregnancy, and they're set to increase by about 55% every 48 to 72 hours in early part of pregnancy. So if your tests are coming back negative early on, it might not be negative. It might just be that the HCG hasn't built up in your system yet. So what should we do in the 2-week wait to help us get through it? So I think the thing that I found is it is so easy to obsess about every single symptom that you get. Like, honestly, I was a mess of recording every cramp and twinge or feeling of nausea. I spent hours Googling, the signs of pregnancy before you get that pregnancy test result and all of these things. And as much as that sort of helped me cope at certain times, the obsession, it did get a bit out of hand. So it is really important to realise, one, that the meds that you want are the things that are causing a lot of these symptoms. And unfortunately, it means it's unlikely to be pointing towards a specific outcome. So I had the same symptoms on my negative cycle as I did on my positive cycle. So really, the all those little moods and feelings and twinges and cramps and things that you're experiencing are not necessarily, unfortunately, pointing you towards one specific outcome or the other. So tip 2 is to try and keep your mind and body occupied. The busier, the better. So I went back to work, so obviously that kept me quite occupied. I know some people prefer to take this time off work, and that is totally an individual choice. I felt like keeping myself at work helped me distract me from kind of obsessing. It was very helpful. But if you've got a lot of time on your hands, just think of ways to fill your day. Have a nice date with your partner, go have a girly evening. If you've got a massive to-do list, as long as it's not like excessive, weightlifting style stuff, get on with it. Why not? Start a new hobby, do some arts and crafts, write down your experience of IVF to try and kind of put your feelings and thoughts into it, because sometimes that can help you sort of decompress from everything. Whatever it is, just try and keep that time filled to help you stop heading to Google every 2 seconds. And the other thing is, obviously have, a support network of some kind. Now, it can be anything from your partner to Facebook groups. There's loads of fabulous ones on Facebook that I used during this period. Sometimes there's infertility and IVF support groups in your local area. If you are really struggling, then you could look into a professional counsellor or therapist. And if you do want to do that, I recommend going onto the British Infertility Counselling Association website to look for one who's specifically trained in IVF and infertility counselling. Speak to family and friends if you feel like they would understand. there's so many options there for people to talk to. And if you're happy to be open with people, you'll probably soon enough find that there's a lot of people who have been through IVF or infertility investigations and you would never have known. Me and Nathan, as we've opened up to people about our journey, I've come across so many family and friends who've gone through similar things or are going through similar things at the moment. So you'd be surprised. I think it's just that nobody talks about it. But they've become a great support to us, and hopefully us to them as well, during their infertility journey, and that's been great. So, on the obsession side of things, if you are prone to obsess, schedule it in. I know this contradicts everything we've just said. However, I am an obsessor. I obsess, I schedule, I love diaries. Nathan has kindly put a picture of about 5 of my different diaries on the I Need IVF website for you to go and laugh at. But because I knew that I couldn't totally break obsessing over stuff, and because I like to have a schedule, I basically ended up scheduling into my diary time to obsess in each day, but I had to restrict it to that time, and that was my agreement with myself. So I'd give myself 10 to 20 minutes in the morning and 10 to 20 minutes in the evening, and then that was it, done, dusted, put it away, and get on with the rest of my day. So whether you want to use that time to chat to your support network, to do some of your fertility charting, to read articles about IVF, pregnancy, any of that stuff, or even just to write down your feelings. I had an IVF diary, so each day I would write down, what I'd done for the day, how I was feeling, what symptoms I'd had, and it has been really nice to be able to look back at that later on, especially during this process of getting the I Need IVF website up and running, because it's really helped me let ladies know what I kind of felt through the process. So that was tip number 4. So tip number 5, to be sure to have time to relax and recuperate. Very important. So your mind and your body have literally been put through every test possible. You have injected yourself for weeks at a time with hormones which have sent your body from one way to another, and you will have had all the stress and anxiety, and guess what, it isn't getting any easier, and the 2-week wait often is stated to be the worst time. So take time for yourself, pamper yourself, go get a massage or get your partner to give you one, take walks in places you love. We're very lucky up here, we're close to the beaches and the parks, and there's some beautiful walks around, so go and sit there and just take in the fresh air. Have a duvet day if you can, why not? Netflix and a cup of tea and some chocolate. I mean, I say cup of tea decaf for us, those ladies, obviously. You can have your couple of caffeinated a day, as we've talked about, but I stick with a decaf these days. Go spend time with family and friends. I think the day before my first transfer, I was lucky enough that some friends were visiting from down south, so we had a beautiful day on the beach, and I just relished running around, not run very far because it was a strain on the body at that point, but just enjoy time. The 6th thing is to explore the possible outcomes and what you would do in each situation. After my first cycle had failed, I found it really helpful to know what the plan was. So, for me, the plan was obviously to go into the second cycle quite quickly. But I also then, during that second cycle, planned for what happened if that one had failed. So not only knowing that I would go on to a third cycle, but also knowing that if that third cycle had been unsuccessful, what we would have tried after that. And equally, I also wrote down, what if I was pregnant? When would I be due? What kind of things would happen at that point. So I just looked and wrote down thoughts on every possible outcome that I could have and where we would be at and what the next step would be for us. And I think that really helped reduce my anxiety, because I'm a lady who likes to plan. I don't deal well with the unknown. you know, that can really reduce your stress and anxiety during that 2-week wait if you've got those plans set out. And obviously sit and talk to your partner about it and discuss it with them, because, you know, it's important that you're both on the same page. Tip number 7, you may get some bleeding in this point. Now that could be implantation bleeding. It could be, potentially, if it's later on, a sign that you could be coming to a normal menstrual cycle. However, that is quite unlikely, because you will most likely be on progesterone, and that should hold your period off for you. So any kind of bleeding you're getting at this point is more likely than not like implantation bleeding of some kind, although can be signs of other things. So one, try not to let it worry you, but if it's anything beyond kind of a light spotting, then do let your clinic know, and they can get you in quickly and get you seen to. And then the final tip is to take care of yourself just in general. Sleep, get your good 7.5, 8 hours sleep a night, eat a balanced diet, keep moving and grooving, even if it's just going for a walk here or there for 20 minutes. It can just do you the world of good to be getting out, and, you know, keep taking your multivitamin or your folic acid, your vitamin D, etc., that you've been taking all the way through. So I really hope that this has been helpful. If you do want to see more from us, it would be great to have you, so you can subscribe, give this video a like if it's been useful, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye.